Loblaws ran a bread price-fixing cartel for 14 years. When it ended, Loblaws did not get prosecuted. It got immunity, in exchange for becoming the government's cooperating witness against the same companies it conspired with. David Park has shopped at Loblaws his entire adult life. President's choice. The insiders report. He thinks of it as the honest option. He does not know that the corporation behind his grocery routine is the one that disclosed the cartel. Only when disclosure became the better legal outcome, not the ethical one. The corporation that ran the conspiracy is still running your grocery store. It now runs your pharmacy data too. $500 million settlement paid out in 2025. The CEO is still the face of the brand. Here is what the immunity deal did not require them to tell you. Number 1. The premium promise and what it is actually purchasing. Loblaws is not just a grocery store. It is a feeling. The Insider's Report has been in Canadian homes since 1978. A catalog that positioned President's Choice, not as a store brand, but as a curated selection a discerning family would be proud to serve. Galen Weston has appeared in Loblaw's marketing as the face of that curation, a CEO who personally vouches for what his stores carry. That positioning commands a premium. Loblaw's prices sit above No Frills, above Food Basics, above every discount banner at the other end of the grocery spectrum. Canadian families who choose Loblaws over a lower-cost alternative are making a statement about what they value: quality, trust, a brand that has earned its place in Canadian kitchens over decades. Here is what that premium is actually purchasing. The bread you bought at Loblaws between 2001 and 2015 was priced through a coordinated conspiracy, while you were paying premium Loblaws prices for it. The President's Choice products you chose as a trusted alternative to name brands are manufactured by unnamed contract processors, whose production standards are not disclosed on the label, and the PC Optimum points you earn on every premium Loblaws purchase are feeding a behavioral dataset that Loblaws describes in investor communications as a commercially valuable corporate asset. The compensation structure tells you where the premium goes. Galen Weston Jr.'s total pay as Loblaw president reached $11.8 million in 2022, approximately 340 times what a frontline Loblaw's grocery worker earns. Many of those frontline workers cannot afford to shop at the stores where they work. The premium does not flow down the organization. It flows to the top. The premium is real. What it is purchasing is not what the Insider's Report implies. Number 2. The conviction you paid premium prices for. Between 2001 and 2015, Loblaw Companies Limited participated in a conspiracy to fix the retail price of packaged bread sold across Canada. 14 years, the company coordinated with George Weston and other major bread producers to control what Canadians paid for bread at grocery stores nationwide, while simultaneously positioning itself as the premium, trustworthy option for Canadian families. Every Canadian who stood in the Loblaw's bread aisle during those 14 years, paying premium prices for what they believed was a premium shopping experience, was also paying a price that had been set in coordination with competitors. You paid for the premium. You also paid the cartel price. Both things happened to the same customer, in the same store, on the same visit. In May 2025, an Ontario Superior Court approved a $500 million class action settlement against Loblaw Companies and George Weston Limited. Loblaw came forward as a cooperating witness in exchange for immunity from criminal prosecution. The corporation that ran the cartel for 14 years is also the corporation that disclosed it, when disclosure became the better legal outcome. Both facts are true simultaneously. The bread aisle at Loblaws is still there. The Insider's Report is still being produced. The CEO is still the face of the brand. The $500 million settlement is the largest consumer fraud resolution in Canadian retail history. If you did not know that, there is more in this video and a new investigation every week. Subscribe before we get to Section 3. The store that charged you the premium while running the cartel is also the store whose layout was designed to extract more from you before you reach the bread aisle. Number 3. The store is designed against you. The Loblaws store format is more refined than a discount box store. Wider aisles, better lighting, warmer visual merchandising. That design communicates quality before a single product is reached. The communication is a commercial decision, not a consumer service. The bakery smell at the entrance is deliberate, routed through the ventilation system to stimulate appetite. Before you reach the grocery aisles, hungry shoppers spend more. Prepared foods near the entrance capture the tired shopper, making decisions after a long workday. When cognitive resources for comparison shopping are at their lowest, the layout is engineered to maximize basket size from the specific customer who believes they are shopping thoughtfully. That customer is the Loblaws customer. End caps are paid positions. Products at the front of each aisle end cap, paid for that placement, or were placed there because Loblaws margin on those products. Benefits from the visibility. The sale tag that makes the end cap feel like a discovery is a commercial arrangement between a retailer and a supplier. The Insider's Report featured item that feels like a personal recommendation from Galen Weston is a promotional vehicle. The feeling of curation and the commercial reality behind it are two different things operating in the same aisle. Look at your last Loblaws receipt. Ask yourself which items you planned to buy before you walked in. That gap between what you came for and what you left with is what the prepared foods section, the end cap, and the Insider's Report featured item produced. That gap is revenue. The store design extracts money one unplanned purchase at a time. And the corporation that built that store also controls most of the alternatives. Canadians believe they are choosing when they leave. Number 4. The illusion of choice. This is the section most Loblaws shoppers have never been told. When a Canadian family decides they cannot afford Loblaws and switches to No Frills to save money, they are still shopping at Loblaws. No Frills is a Loblaw Companies limited banner. When they switch to Zehrs, that is Loblaws. Fortino's, Loblaws. Value Mart, Loblaws. Maxi in Quebec, Loblaws. Atlantic Superstore in the Maritimes, Loblaws. Independent Grocer, Loblaws. When a Canadian family chooses T&T Supermarket because they want to support an independent Asian grocery chain, they are shopping at Loblaws. Loblaw Companies acquired T&T in 2009. T&T carries the PC Optimum loyalty program. The transaction goes to the same corporate entity. Loblaw Companies Limited controls an estimated 1/3 of Canadian grocery retail. The competition that should exist between those formats as a market accountability mechanism has been consolidated into one corporate structure. The Canadian family trying to vote with their wallet by leaving Loblaws frequently discovers that the discount banner, the ethnic grocery chain, and the independent grocer they switched to are operated by the corporation they were trying to leave. That is not an accident. That is decades of acquisition strategy, producing the exact outcome the strategy was designed to produce. When Canadians organized a month-long boycott of all Loblaws-owned stores in May 2024, they were boycotting every banner simultaneously, or they were not boycotting Loblaws at all. Most did not know the full list. Loblaws had never presented it that way. On the day the organized boycott launched, Loblaws reported first-quarter profits of $459 million, up 9.8% from the prior year. The boycott happened. The earnings kept rising. That is not a failure of the boycott. It is a description of a market where leaving is harder than it looks. The illusion of choice runs across every banner. It runs even further than that. Number 5. PC Optimum knows your prescriptions too. Your PC Optimum card is not a grocery loyalty card. It is a behavioral data set that spans two of the most sensitive categories in your life. At Loblaws, PC Optimum collects product-level purchasing data across your entire grocery basket. What you buy, how often, your sensitivity to price changes, your response to promotions. That dataset exists at every major grocery chain with a loyalty program. What does not exist at any standalone grocery chain is what happens when you scan the same card at Shoppers Drug Mart. Loblaw Companies acquired Shoppers Drug Mart in 2014 for $12.4 billion. The PC Optimum program is fully integrated across both banners. Points earned at Shoppers are redeemed at Loblaws. Your card tracks your pharmaceutical purchasing, prescription pickups, over-the-counter medications, health and beauty products. The combination creates a dataset that spans both what you eat and what medication you take. Loblaw's investor materials describe the integrated PC Optimum dataset as providing insight into consumer health and lifestyle patterns that goes beyond the grocery transaction. A corporation with access to your food purchasing behavior and your pharmaceutical history holds behavioral intelligence about you that no standalone grocery chain can match. You scan the PC Optimum card at Loblaws. You scan it at Shoppers. You receive points. The corporation receives a combined health and grocery behavioral data set that it converts into commercial advantage. The checkout screen emphasizes the points. The investor presentation emphasizes the asset, your grocery habits and your prescription history. Together, in one corporate database, most Canadians who scan that card at Shoppers do not know that is where the data goes. Number 6. 1134. The 24th of April, 2013, the Rana Plaza building in Savar, Dhaka, Bangladesh, collapsed at 8:57 in the morning. 1,134 people lost their lives. More than 2,000 were injured. It remains the deadliest garment factory disaster in recorded history. Joe Fresh clothing, sold exclusively at Loblaws stores across Canada, was being produced in Rana Plaza at the time of the collapse. Workers making clothing that would carry the Joe Fresh label and appear on Loblaws racks were among those in the building that morning. Workers had reported visible cracks in the building's structure the day before. They were told to return to work. They returned. The building fell. Loblaw Companies issued a public statement after the collapse and announced financial compensation for affected workers and families. The company joined the Bangladesh Accord on Fire and Building Safety. These responses are documented. They represent the corporate accountability mechanism that activated after 1,134 lives were lost. The Joe Fresh line continues. The clothing rack is still in the store. Loblaw's sourcing transparency on Joe Fresh has improved since 2013. The full supply chain disclosure that would allow a Canadian consumer to independently verify current conditions does not appear on the tag. The price on that tag does not include the full cost of the supply chain that produced it. It never has. 1,134. That number belongs to the same corporation, selling you President's Choice cream cheese, the insider's report, and points on every prescription. Number 7. Your silence is their margin. Loblaws has priced your inaction into its financial model. Every overcharge absorbed without challenge. Every insider's report featured item purchased on the strength of brand trust, rather than verified quality. Every PC Optimum data exchange accepted, without understanding what is being exchanged. Every year of premium bread prices paid, without knowing about the cartel. All of it is built into the margin. The distinction at Loblaws is the premium. When a corporation charges more because it implies more, and those implications are undermined by a 14-year bread price-fixing conspiracy, by Joe Fresh in Rana Plaza, by private label products from unnamed manufacturers, by a loyalty card collecting pharmaceutical data, the consumer who continues paying the premium without accountability is subsidizing the gap between the promise and the reality. In March 2020, Loblaws announced $2 extra per hour for frontline workers during the pandemic. In June 2020, it ended the program. Vaccines did not exist. The pandemic was still active. Workers were still masked, still serving hundreds of customers per shift. Loblaws, Sobeys, and Metro all ended their hero pay programs. Within days of each other, 3 separate corporations, 3 separate decisions. Same week, members of Parliament summoned grocery executives to explain the coordination. In the same quarter hero pay was cancelled, Loblaws reported profits 21% higher than the prior year. The workers lost $2 an hour. The shareholders gained 21%. Report food safety concerns at inspection.canada.ca. Return products that fail. Challenge pricing errors. Limit PC Optimum scans to purchases where the point value justifies the disclosure. Your informed response is the only cost Loblaws cannot budget for in advance. Stay with us. After this, we tell you exactly where to redirect your spending. And 3 alternatives that earned the recommendation. What to do instead? Save on foods. 3 alternatives, with the exact reason each one earns the recommendation. For shoppers in British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario, Save on Foods is operated by the Jim Pattison Group, a privately held Vancouver-based Canadian company. No participation in any bread price-fixing cartel. No garment factory disaster tied to a private label brand. No pharmaceutical data integration through a loyalty program. A named Canadian owner with a traceable business history. A corporate record that does not carry any of the accountability failures that define the Loblaws profile. The Western Family private label carries the same undisclosed manufacturer limitation. As any chain, the recommendation stands on the corporate record, not on the claim of perfection. What to do instead? Independent markets and butchers. For fresh produce, local markets, Korean, South Asian, Caribbean, and independent Canadian, provide supply chain visibility and freshness. No national chain's centralized distribution model can match. The producer is identifiable. The transit time from harvest to shelf is shorter. The accountability when something fails leads to a named person, not a corporate communications department. For protein, independent butchers offer named suppliers, single facility traceability, and the ability to ask a question and receive a specific answer. That traceability does not exist at any Loblaws fresh meat counter. The price difference on staples is smaller than the gap between what these producers offer and what Loblaws Premium implies it is providing. Metro Inc. For shoppers in Quebec and Eastern Ontario, Metro Incorporated has not been named as a defendant in any federal bread price-fixing criminal proceeding. Metro's private label carries the same undisclosed manufacturer limitations as any chain. The corporation has no documented analog to the Rana Plaza connection or the $500 million bread cartel settlement. Metro's loyalty program does not integrate pharmaceutical purchasing data at the scale of the PC Optimum, Shoppers Drug Mart ecosystem. For an Eastern Canada shopper choosing between Loblaws and a direct alternative, Metro represents a materially different accountability record. David Park will walk into that Loblaws again this week. He will see the insider's report on the counter near the entrance, the premium promise visible from the street. He will feel the pull of a brand that has spent decades making itself feel like the honest choice. You now know what he does not. Share this with someone who pays the Loblaws Premium without asking what it is buying them. For more investigations into what Canadians are actually buying and where they are actually shopping, subscribe to this channel. Verified sources, no corporate money. New videos every week.